You feel me? Yeah. You feel me? Nah, that's real. Keep it on West Coast, cause I feel like cats don't show us the love out here. Dago, putting on for the town. Tell me about it.
Coming back and spend the night, come get me like to make it right. I got a boy. got a bottle of Patron and some lights off. Two red devil looking eyeballs, and I finna turn up when the night falls. If you hear a siren, then it's my fault. Jump in my whip, baby, let's ride. We ain't gonna stop at a red light, and I'ma take shots like a Tech 9. It's gonna get live. Here we go, it's about to go down. Let me know, I'ma buy another round. Get low, drop it down to the ground. Oh yeah, wow, shorty make it bounce. Mama see the put cuffs on my cardiac. Took my breath away like a heart attack. And I'ma spend every dime and my money back. Everybody wanna know. If you're ready, let me know. Let's go. If you're ready, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. If you're ready, let me know. Here we go. Let's go. I got a bottle of Grey Goose and ice cubes. Type of drink that'll put me in the right mood. 80 proof's gonna lower my IQ. And I've been the same way since high school. I look shorty right in her brown eyes. She about to take a trip to Cloud 9. I'm the man, baby, I get the crowd hype. I turn the cadence of a hook into a soundbite. Here we go, it's about to go down. Let me know, I'ma buy another round. Get low, drop it down to the ground. Oh yeah, wow, shorty make it bounce. Mama see the put cuffs on my cardiac. Took my breath away like a heart attack. And I'ma spend every dime and my money back. Everybody wanna know. Let's go. If you're ready, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. If you're ready, let me know. Here we go. Let's go.
Looks like we've come to the end of the road. There's no point in running away now. I'd rather sleep until the storm is gone. She'd rather be shooting at me now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. Looks like a blink of an eye's not enough. She'd rather be staying for days now. I'd rather fix it than mess up again. She'd rather be burning it all now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire.
I'm up the shit with my brother. I'm up the shit with my brothers. Keep lethal weapons and Glover. First make a young nigga thugger. You know best friend is a cover. Girl on me bouncing like flubber. Boy young with money like stunner. 300 a pint pour all summer. Shoot on sight if you fuck with my come up. Your boy got a license to stunt this. Shoot on sight isn't right, but we gunning. Sippin' Sprite pour all night at the function. Yeah, we bumped 21, ain't no jumping. Free the X and the X did the dumb shit. Said I rock one-on-one how I've done shit. In your eyes, see you jump if I smoke this. Bump an X when I flex with the youngin'.
Your boy got a license to stunt this. Shoot on sight isn't right, but we gunning. Sippin' Sprite pour all night at the flat at the funk. Pull up to the club. Pop that.
I can't do this right now.
Boy got a license to start this. Shoot on sight isn't right, but we gunning. The spike all night at the funk.
High, too nice is a setup. Dripped out, head to toe, peep to get up. Said the young'll be stunting in any sweater. You think you could do it better, but really could never measure. Got a Glock engraved with your name on it. And some special designs, this is a game for me. Tiptoed on the beat in Balenciagas. Dipped out of your crib in my Gucci floppers.
Your boy got a license to start this.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the November 1st. Where has the year gone? November 1st, 2023 episode of the Cybersecurity stream. My name is Neil Bridges, as always, and thank you for joining us tonight. Real conversations with real people. That is exactly what you come to expect here on the Cybersecurity channel, and I am super stoked for tonight's stream. I know you are too. I love seeing the chat. We've already got the Fasochi bomb question. Matrix pulled off a chat GPT, dropped into Twitch chat. So you better go ahead and start getting those questions in for our guest tonight, because it's going to be a wild one tonight. As I mentioned, we really are here to have real conversations with real people about the state of cybersecurity and all of the things involved in it. We do this because we have a problem in our industry where we don't have the real conversations about the state of cybersecurity, the people in it, or the systems and companies that we protect. With that being said, I'm going to do kind of a short intro because we do have a lot to get to tonight. I do want to give a huge shout out to my moderators. Everybody drop some hype hands, drop some cheers, drop some bits, drop some, drop some excitement in the various platforms that we're streaming across for our moderators. Moderators are dedicated individuals, and they are here to keep chat free of racist, sexist, misogynistic, elitist, and otherwise toxic behavior. We have zero tolerance for it here on the stream. We are here to encourage a very transparent, very direct, but also a very respectful chat dialogue amongst everybody here. And so my moderators are here to make sure that we have a fantastic experience. Security Live, subscribing for 22 months. John Bauer, I love you. I got your resume. we're gonna take a look at your Chat GPT created resume and then see if we can pull out some of the Chat GPT nonsense. But John and I worked together at Abbott a number of years ago. John's a brilliant AppSec engineer, Splunker, and just all around tinkerer. Make sure you go check out him on Twitch. He does a lot of cool tinkering in his basement with a lot of cool stuff that he's got going on. I love John. Security Live over on Twitch. He was our first real subscriber, our first real kind of supporter of the stream, and I've always appreciated your friendship, John. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Moderators are not here, however, to stifle chat in any way, shape, or form. Moderators are here to make sure that your voice gets heard. That is so incredibly important to us. Everybody here has a voice, and we absolutely want your voice to be heard. And so we encourage you, talk in chat across the various platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitch, or Twitter. If people are watching on Twitter and chatting on Twitter, I can't ever tell because the numbers really don't work well from a moderation perspective over here on Twitter. But please, we encourage those conversations. We encourage civil discourse. So if you hear something that me or my guest that you disagree with, please, nobody will judge you for speaking out about it in chat. As a matter of fact, we'll do our best to try to offer you our perspective and opinions. With that being said, we are here to provide you with the most intriguing, up-to-date, up-to-the-minute opinions, points of view, and perspectives on the cyber industry. And that's what they are. They are opinions, points of view, and perspective. They're not doctrine. They're not written in stone. They're not the 10 Commandments. I promise you, they are here to give you a perspective and a persona on the things that are happening in cybersecurity. And so we very, very much welcome all sorts of opinions across the board. We do have questions. We do encourage questions. They are the prime value that comes from our stream being live, especially when we have a special guest like we do tonight, and I'll introduce him here in a second. It's one of the few places where you get to come and ask live questions to a set of live experts here on stream. And so as you saw, if you were here in Twitch, right off the bat, you'll see our good man Fasochi drop a whole list of questions because he knows that this is a great place to come and ask questions from professionals. And so I can't encourage it enough. Drop your questions at any time about any topic, anything that we're covering on stream, top of mind, whatever the case is, and we will do our best to add it to the queue. And when I say everything, I've had people ask me about my cancer journey, my golf journey. We've talked about barbecue here on the stream before. Obviously, we've been doing a couple of test streams over the last couple days, and we've talked about World of Warcraft and other video games and stuff like that. We are really here to ask Mark some questions about barbecue, all right? Or, you know, we've got some good questions for Mark already. Don't ask him about barbecue, but you could ask him about barbecue if you wanted to, right? The point is, get those questions in, and we will absolutely do our best to answer them. Questions get added to a queue, and then much like you saw before, they get pushed up on screen by our moderators so that they can be answered in a timely fashion. They'll look like that, and we will answer them in kind as we get to it. Thank you very much, Snow the Parrot, for the $5 donation to the Melanoma Research Foundation. Obviously, going on a year-long battle with stage 4 melanoma myself, so that charity that we are running is a huge, hugely personal to me, and so I truly appreciate your donation to that. That goes direct to that foundation. Thank you very much for that. Tonight's stream, let's talk about it. This is one of the huge giving back streams we absolutely love to do for the entire community. We are doing our resume and LinkedIn roast tonight. Now, we're doing something slightly different for tonight's LinkedIn resume roast. If you remember, we've done these before in the past. It's usually me sitting up here and churning through resumes. And you know, while I am very, very opinionated on resumes, I thought, how can we spice this up? Much like you do in your relationship, you're like, man, I got to do something to spice up this life a lot, this life that we've got here. And so I reached out to my good friends at Cybersecurity and asked them if they had somebody better than the guy Matt that we had last week. I only say that because I know he's in chat listening right now. But asked them if they had anybody who was qualified and also opinionated. I actually, if we ever get their team on here, they'll tell you. I said, I want somebody who's opinionated to come on this stream and talk to me about resumes. And so I'm glad they obliged. I'm going to introduce our special guest here in a little bit, but he's here to help me review some of your resumes and review some of your LinkedIns. He's not going to have the same perspective as me, I don't think. Maybe he does on a couple of things. And so what that affords you, right, is the opportunity. You're going to get my opinions like you always do, but now you're going to get a couple of different opinions. And so you're getting twice the value out of tonight's resume roast stream than you would have out of any of the other resume streams that we've gotten here in the past. Different perspectives aid in learning. Thank you very much, Fasoshi. That is 100% right. That's why we wanted to have somebody else here for that. We want to give you guys lots of different perspectives. And so he's got a wealth of experience. You know what? I've been talking around him here for a little bit. Everybody throw some hype hands in chat. Put it together man, I know I've asked you this before, and I totally am going to mess it up. Mark Ballingett. Gosh, say it again. I totally messed it. Yeah, did I get it?
Yeah, you got it. Hey, I'll give you the credit.
There you go. Mark, you've led, managed, performed global incident response investigations focused on large-scale data breaches, system compromises, data exfiltration, ransomware, malware breaks, all the things that come with being an incident responder and SOC analyst. You've worn many hats throughout your incident response career, proactive, reactive services. I just learned today that you were a member of IBM's X-Force for a really long time. What was it like being a part of an organization as big as IBM and trying to do incident response for an organization as large as IBM?
Oh, that's a loaded question. We're just getting right into it, huh? So here's the thing. So IBM was my first job, right? I came out of college, I joined IBM, and incident response was my first gig. So a student doing incident response, like getting right into it, it was like drinking from like the world's largest fire hose known to man, times 1,000, right? I had to learn. I was super introverted. I had no idea how to talk to clients. I had no public speaking skills, anything like that. But a lot of my friends still there, and people that left, like we're all good friends. It's as you know, it's a small community, right? The security world. Everyone knows each other. Everyone's down to help each other. So it was a good time. It was too much at some point though.
Yeah. It's like I mean, IBM. We joke with IBM, right? IBM is a great place for software to go and die. They also can chew up people if you're not careful with everything that they've got going on. Did I miss anything about your background that you want to kind of share with everybody?
Sure. So I guess I'll just reiterate. So, hey, everyone. Thanks, Neil. Like Neil said, my background is incident response, so blue teaming, right? So proactive being the playbook development, CSERPs, tabletop exercises, and then the reactive, so stuff I like to do. Whereas, well, fun for me, but not fun for the client, where they get breached. It's my job to figure out how it happened, why it happened, do the analysis, do the bridges at 2 a.m, talk to legal, the whole shebang. It's fun to me. I made my own services or helped make some services at IBM, and now I'm doing security researching here at Cybersecurity. Basically, I'm building a whole new service, helping out where I can. Most of my time right now is reverse engineering as well as malware development. I was just 2 weeks ago doing a conference for threat hunting for a small college, and then just recently I was featured in Fortune, the article.
Nice.
Fortune Education. So I know my thing about resumes, guys. So
nice.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into that resumes here a little bit, but apparently somebody on YouTube had a very, very pressing question. Apparently this is going to make or break your credibility on this stream, and so they wanted to know, where did you go to college?
Oh, SUNY Plattsburgh. So that is upstate New York, about an hour away from Montreal.
Okay, we'll monitor YouTube chat and see what the result of that is. So since we are talking about resumes today, we are talking about LinkedIn's as well. Before we dive into it, obviously chat knows my perspective on resumes and LinkedIn. Can you kind of talk? Let's start with resumes first. Can you kind of talk about what you look for in a resume? What's your perspective on resumes and just generally, what do you think makes a good resume these days?
Sure. So some context too is I hire people for my team as contractors sometimes to help out on content. So I do a lot of interviews myself, or conduct the interviews, and weed out the ones that I think are strong compared to the ones that are weak. What I look for, at least, is how easy is it to read for the eyes, right? Like if it's a lot of clutter and really, really tight, it just, for me, it's a big turnoff. Best way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're an entry level. I don't care if you're coming from, finance or the music industry, right? Like if you want to get into cyber, I want to see how are you doing in that gap of years, right? Meaning, are you doing projects? Are you doing any courses? Okay. If I see a 4-year student, for example, and all I see is Microsoft Word, Office, and some other tools, but that's all you're doing for 4 years, right? So I want to see more, right? We can dive deeper into this, of course, but like your resume should showcase to me why are you a good benefit for not only the team but for the organization, right? We're pouring resources and really money into you. Biggest factor that I learned is retention, meaning if I care that if I hire you, I care that you're going to be here for the next 3-4 years, not this is going to be a bridge job, right? So there's a lot of factors to consider with the resume.
How so I see this question. I'll answer this question here in a little bit. In today's environment, meaning that it's obviously a rough economic times. We're coming post pandemic. Companies are doing a lot of layoffs. We see a ton of layoffs, especially in cyber. How has your perspective on resumes changed in this environment versus maybe what it was before when everybody was hiring like crazy?
To be frank, I was talking to a buddy the other day about this. I think it's harder, my opinion, right?
Yeah.
I think it's harder for entry level professionals, early professionals, to get into the industry now than it ever has been.
Okay.
Due to one, the layoffs, right? So we have a lot of senior members, we have a lot of mid-tier members trying to find a job in security, as well as the graduates that are trying to get into the industry itself or transition into the industry. That's why I think resume alone is only 80% of the battle. The rest of it, or maybe 70% of the battle, the rest of it is going to be networking. In my opinion.
Thank you so much. Like you and I are going to get along great. I did not see that. I did not see that answer with him, Chad. But as you're listening to this is obviously one of the things that I talk extensively about. This kind of ties directly into kind of like my 1,000 Connect Challenge, where I teach, the community how to go out there and make meaningful connections in the cyber industry. Would you again, not seeding this, kind of following up on that networking concept, how many, like if you had to guess a percentage, how many people out there do you think are getting jobs via networking versus via other things?
I can let you know right now. So after I left IBM, I applied. So I'm a very organized person. I like to have spreadsheets for everything. I kept track of every job I applied to in college, as well as when I left IBM to find this job at Cybery. I applied to 86 positions. 2 positions, Cybery and another organization, were the only offers I got. Not due to my lack of skills. It's just the way the industry was. So I can also tell you that networking has got me into better opportunities than any other place. So the worst thing you can do is send a message and they do not respond. That it's literally like a first date. That's literally it. It's just hey, what's up? And then you kind of go from there. Obviously, you're professional about it, but yeah.
And you swipe right on Cyber, and Cyber swiped right on you.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. We hear it all.
Usman says, how do we submit our resumes and LinkedIn for sessions like this? We do resume and LinkedIn roast every month, and so this is a great plug for the Discord. Make sure you hit that exclamation point Discord in chat. We'll get somebody to post it to both LinkedIn and YouTube, so you have it there. But we have a resume review channel inside of our Discord. We ask that you post a redacted version of your resume into that channel, and every month we'll go through that channel. We'll pick resumes out, and we will review both resumes and LinkedIn's. Okay, so I asked you your philosophy on resumes. You told me that, and you mentioned networking a little bit. Let's talk about LinkedIn, since that is the primary tool used for networking. What's your philosophy? What do you look for when you look for a good LinkedIn versus a bad LinkedIn?
You probably have the wrong person to ask for this, actually. 'Cause I think LinkedIn is the new Facebook.
Okay.
I hate
Okay.
it, passion.
Okay.
It's only good, quote unquote, good for the recruiter stuff.
Okay.
Everything else, I don't care about. The resume is everything to me. I don't care about cover letter. I don't even think people still do cover letters, right? But like, depending on how your LinkedIn looks, obviously make it professional. Don't just have no picture. Don't have any headers. Like, I want to see you active. I have a friend who's trying to get into security, and they're an IT analyst, and they are posting weekly. showing the progress. It just, that's already to me shows that you're passionate about, getting to the industry alone, and that you're ready to, you're ready to get down and dirty with it. So
I love it. So there you go. We've got different perspectives. We have different perspectives on LinkedIn. So this is why we do this, because obviously we get a lot of different perspectives. I'm super happy about that. Anything I didn't ask about, Mark? Anything that you think's worth mentioning before we get into this? I think we're good. All right. So we've gathered a bunch of resumes from the resume review channel that we're going to kind of go through. Again, we've told you to submit your redacted resume. We've pulled resumes out of our Discord to show. If you have failed to redact your resume and we show it on screen, that is you taking responsibility for the fact that you did not listen to the rules of engagement for this, and you are not holding cyber and security responsible for any misuse of your information because you failed to redact your resume or show it on screen. My mods did not go through and redact any resumes. We will, if resumes have LinkedIn's included on them, then we will instinctively do resumes and LinkedIn's together. And we'll do that. I will obviously be using my resume rubric. You can hit ! resume in chat. If you're interested in viewing my resume rubric, Mark will do his own kind of assessment on resumes as well. You ready to get into this? Ready to do this?
let's do it.
All right, let's do it. The first one up. Cool, that worked well. The first one up that we're going to be taking a look at is Jonathan McEwen. We're going to take a look at his resume. Mark, you want to kind of jump into this first and kind of talk us through kind of your thought process?
It's a lot already, right? Like, I know you didn't scroll down already, but it's a lot. I don't want to read through a paragraph of guys. You got to understand, like, resume as an HR person or someone like a technical lead that hires people, right? Does interviews. This isn't the only thing that we do. Obviously, we're probably looking at this at 3 p.m., 4 p.m., like when we want to get out of work. Obviously, I'm going to take all the time in the world to obviously give you guys the best experience, or the client, or sorry, the applicant the best experience and give the best chance. But this is already a lot of information. Mm-hmm. Also, why is competencies? Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. I would change things around. Keep your summary should be 2 sentences long, max 2 to 3 sentences long. Like, I will see all your skills. Ideally, I should see all your skills if I scroll down in your professional experience, as well as, okay, your bullet points need to change too. All right, let's break this down. So back to the summary. 2 to 3 sentences max. Keep it very, very high level. Who are you? It should be like an executive summary, best way to put it, like a elevator pitch. What is this resume, or what is your 2 to 3 sentences gonna showcase through the whole resume? Best way to put it, right? Like, are you a student? Are you trying to get into the industry? Are you a professional that has XYZ experience in GDPR and HIPAA? Are you an incident responder, right? Like, that's what I should see in your beginning part. Like, the 14 years experience as DoD contractor in IT field, including, like, that's fine to keep, but the rest of it, like, that's just too much, man.
Everything kind of like from here down. Yeah,
that's a lot. Like, all the certifications listed below are current. Yeah, it's like, we can talk about that during the actual interview itself if you ever get that interview, but like, keep it high level, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, this part right here, this all certifications listed below are current certified DoD 8570. One of the things that I would only say is that when I look at this resume, if you were sending this resume to a non-government contracting entity, I would probably throw it out simply for all of this, because this basically says, like, okay, you have no, like, I would read this far and say you have no knowledge of how to make a resume appeal to me in a non-military or a non-government, non-DoD fashion, right? Because all of this is pure GSA, USA jobs filtering type of stuff right here. I agree with you. It's definitely too long. I think this is the wrong audience if you're trying to go for a job that's not DoD or government.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Like, HR recruiters, they're not going to know any of this at all.
And they're not going to care. They're just not going to care.
No, they don't care. Like, okay, do you hit the requirements? Cool. If not, then
Yeah.
we'll send you the email of, I'm sorry, we don't want you. Yeah.
All right. So you want to do bullet points, or you want to do competencies next? Because you keyed in on the bullet points pretty good.
I look at the bullet points. So I've like the bullet points. This is a common theme that I see through all resumes. Like, not even in security, in finance, and anything. Like I said, I'm trying to help my friends get into the industry itself, and they're coming from a finance background or even a IT background. Bullet points should not be you listing out the job description. It really isn't. Like, it should tell me, why are you a good fit for the organization, or what have you done? Mm-hmm. The best formula I like to give people is input and output. So your first bullet point, Active Directory and Group Policy Admin. Okay. Okay. That's good, but what have you done as an Active Directory GPO, Group Policy Admin, right? Like, if I see, for example, use Kali Linux, which I have seen, that is super, super vague. Be very specific. Use Kali Linux to do what? To do pen testing, to do your home lab, to create, whatever. I want you to be specific. The reason being is, going back to what I said before, the factors you have to think about are a few things. Why should I hire you? In terms of, besides you're a good fit, we are pouring resources and money into you. We have to care about retention, right? Do we see that you can change for positivity, a positive growth in our organization? Meaning, do you have statistics? Do you have numbers, right? Obviously, it's going to be harder for a entry-level student, but in general, that's what I want to see. I want to see, like, ensure system file configure management, responsible for configure software for end users. Like, it's so vague. I need to see the meat and potatoes.
So I piggyback on this one very much. Like you mentioned input output, which I think is a fantastic analogy. I saw somebody who's heard me give this speech before in Twitch chat say this, right? It's what, so what, now what? We call it kind of like the 3-point bullet. Like, what did you do? So what? And then what happened after the fact, right? And so, to Mark's point, Active Directory and Group Policy Administration, okay. Did you take a course, read a book, watch a YouTube video? Did you deploy an entire Active Directory? How big was it? How many group policies did you administer? There is so much missing information, and this transcends what I think, Mark, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but this transcends whether this is a government resume or a private sector resume, because it shows that you have taken ownership for the impact of the responsibilities that you've had. You've brought that business value as you've come into an organization.
That's the biggest thing right there. Have you brought value? Like, what value do you bring to the organization? Like, you being vague like this is actually hurting you way
100%.
Yeah, like, actually, like, even the first one, like, I'm assuming you're trying to get into the security industry as a system engineer. Like, let's just assume you can tailor all these bullet points to be security related.
100%.
Like,
talk about that. Definitely talk about that. Yeah,
like, bullet points, again, they should not be listing out what you do. You can tailor each bullet point to be a certain job. A lot of entry-level students come to me and be like, hey, Mark, I'm coming from, let's say I worked at Burger King. How can I use this to get into security? The core skills, no matter where you go, are everywhere. Yes. Team building, communications, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with IT, even more for IT. You're dealing with the fundamentals of the base of technology, which is the IT, right? A lot of people in security don't have that IT background, which is Active Directory or even system admin work, which kind of sucks. But, like, you already have a good starting point. You just got to tail and wordsmith this around, use Active Directory to create, I don't know, built a whole environment and, use GPO to do XYZ, something like that, right? Like, we could probably fine tune that a little bit more, Mark. We could say, like, hey, you've probably secured Active Directory in your implementation, whether you knew it or not, or whether you thought it was best practices, or whether you were following some guideline. You probably secured that Active Directory installation, or you've used GPO to enforce security policies. There's 2 security related things that you could use in a bullet like this that actually set you up for a security engineer or a Active Directory security engineer or a security architect position, I would argue. Yeah. And then I would assume, and I don't think I see it, is anything related to patch management. Well, like, that's what I would like to see too. You could potentially do this one, configuring software for end users, or configuration management. You might be able to swing those two. Yeah, like, I'm assuming, like, Lockheed Martin, right? You can see deployed EDR agents or deployed XYZ agents. Yeah. you can go that route too. But yeah, you have a lot of room to play around with. It sounds more honestly like a job description. Like
Yeah.
this is what you'll be doing. So
Yeah.
you got to tailor this to be a little bit more meat and potatoes in there.
And it looks like it goes all the way down, and all of them
Does
do. Yeah, yeah. It's like every single one of the bullets looks like that.
So stop right there. 2009. What's your opinion? Because I actually don't like seeing things past 3 to 4 years. Yeah.
I think so on the resume rubric, right? I'll have length on here, right? Because I think length becomes a little subjective. I usually tie length to the position you're trying to go for and the diversity of experience that you're trying to have, right? And so I'll use as a CISO, I want to show a lot of diversity of experience, right? I want to show lots of different industries. I want to show where I've, been very business focused versus very operational focused, all across the gamut, right? And so I think that there's room for a respectable length resume to kind of highlight that diversity of experience. But if you're doing something very tactical or very operational, specifically around maybe like a SOC analyst or a pen tester or incident responder, just having what I've seen sometimes is like a skills focused block that just has all the skills and all the experiences you've got, and then listing out the jobs that you've had for the last 4 or 5 years just in bullet points. I've also seen that work really, really well. To your point,
That's what I do.
yeah, to kind of focus in on the skills you have versus the companies you've worked for. I think we call this, like, I think it's technically called like a chronological resume when it's viewed like this versus like a skills based resume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're going, I mean, again, this is just my opinion. If you're going for the 2009 route, there's not a high chance that you remember everything from this. Like, if it does apply, it does apply. But like, what I recommend a lot of people do is have a master resume. Meaning like just brain dump all the bullet points you can on this resume, and then tailor it. And I am a big believer of tailoring each resume to certain jobs. Meaning, if you're applying for security related roles such as threat hunter or pen testing, you're going to have different bullet points for each one.
Mm-hmm.
So that master resume is a good way to, in my opinion, to keep track of your life for careers.
Yeah. Let's come down here to certifications and kind of give your opinion on how these are listed out here. What do you think about this?
So I hate certifications, meaning I mean, I don't hate it for the resume. Obviously, it's a checkbox. It's needed, right? Like CSSP, that's just a checkbox everywhere. However, by hate, I mean I don't like the mentality of people think certifications are the silver bullet to get into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't. If I see all these certifications, I'm going to tailor my interview to ask you these questions. I mean,
100%.
What I mean by that is, and that goes for anyone, right? If you have something on your resume, it's fair game for me to ask you a question. If I see volatility on there and you don't know how volatility works or how the framework works, that are you just lying your way through just to get through the interview, right? I've once, and I'm looking at Security Plus right now because it's kind of giving me PTSD, is I interviewed someone, had Security Plus, they said they had it. During the interview, I find out that, they really don't understand everything. That's fine. But he tells me at the end of the interview that, hey, just letting you know, I haven't taken my Security Plus yet. So I'm like, so why'd you put it on your resume? Like, this is actually hindering you. So put everything you're comfortable with. Don't just check the boxes. Right? Like, that's just the best way to put it.
Yeah. The lying on the resume thing, I've had to deal with that before, and I did a YouTube short on that. If anybody wants to go over to YouTube and see the short that I did on that, because I caught somebody during one of my coaching sessions doing a mock interview saying that they had disaster recovery experience. They had built an entire disaster recovery plan, and they had never had a cyber job at all. And I think Mark hits on a great point. I've talked about this on stream. You see something like that, it's on your resume, and you're putting 2 and 2 together, and you're like, I'm going to go right after that, because if you've got no cyber experience, but you've deployed, executed, strategized, and done everything related to disaster recovery, if you're a rock star, I want to know, and I want to know everything you did about it. And so hiring managers will absolutely find that. And so, yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that 100%.
Yeah, you might BS your way through with a recruiter, but once you get to the technical lead, you're not gonna pass that if that's the case.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do my resume rubric on this one. I'm going to give an official grade here. For experience written away that shows value brought to the company, we're gonna call this unsat. As Mark mentioned, as I mentioned, you're just really outlining job descriptions here. So, that's kind of going to get an unsat here. No word soup. You're definitely getting an unsat here. When I talk about word soup, I hate this right here. So Mark didn't, whoops. Mark didn't mention it. But I utterly despise this. This oftentimes comes because people try to defeat
The checkboxes, you mean? Or
yeah, defeat those automated systems that HR has, and I hate this is so obvious to me. Excuse me, that this is what you're trying to do. This is and I hate that. What I would rather see is if you've got this experience, put it down here, because if you're hoping the ATS picks it up from here, why not just put it down here? To Mark's point about having it associated with some business value, the ATS will pick it up down here the same way it'll pick it up here, and it makes you look like you actually did something with this instead of word souping it in a place like this. And so I utterly despise this. This is my biggest pet peeve on resumes right here.
Have you ever seen where they take that word soup, put it at the footer, and like blend it in? Yeah.
yeah. To each his own on that one, but I don't advocate for that. Length, no. I think your length is average. I don't have a problem with your length. Relevant summary, we're going to give you an average on the relevant summary. I think Mark's got a great point. You've got a good amount here, but it's just long, and all of this is where you start to lose that relevancy in your summary. And then bullet points, you absolutely only got one rule when it came to bullet points, right? Remember, we're gauging on what, so what, now what, and really the only thing you got on your bullet points is barely what you did. Mark, any disagreements with kind of my grade here?
I agree with you.
All right, so you got a 51 on your resume, Jonathan. You did include your LinkedIn, so let's head on over to your LinkedIn. I know you said you weren't a huge fan of LinkedIn, Mark, but you want to go ahead and start out on this one?
I love your beard, by the way. You have the best beard ever. I love that. I've been trying to grow a beard and I can't do it. That's awesome. I actually like your header a lot. This is the first time I've seen something like this where it kind of links to your courses, I'm assuming, right? So Pluralsight, so where your training is. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool. I didn't notice that till you said that. That is cool.
Yeah. This is the first time I've seen that. So it's clean, open to work, right? So that's obviously you're looking for a new position. Can you scroll down, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
My job is still open. See, that's a good. I'm reading his.
You're talking about this one right here.
Yeah. It's like that should be in your resume. Obviously, tailor that, but like it's a good starter compared to the essay that you wrote. So, it's in my opinion, this is a good first start. But let me see my background. Blah blah. Oh, can I move this? No, I can't. Don't forget it. Yeah, so it links to your Pluralsight. I mean, from my point of view, it's like it shows that you have experience. Like without reading your resume, it shows that you have experience. It gives me the option to look at your Pluralsight trainings. So I think it's a not bad LinkedIn profile. What do you think?
Yeah, so kind of getting back over for people who are new to the rubric, right? Profile picture, absolutely you get a superior. You have one. It looks professional. Obviously, the beard gets a win. So 10 of 10 on the beard. So you absolutely get a superior on the profile picture. The banner definitely gets a superior. And I'm glad you highlighted the Pluralsight thing, because I didn't think about that as I saw that. I just thought that was like a GitHub portfolio or something like that. And then you said Pluralsight and I was like, what? Oh yeah, Pluralsight. That's solid. I absolutely do love that. I think that's awesome. We want something in the banner that takes people away from LinkedIn, that shows some form of a portfolio or some form of a social network. I think that's awesome. Social media links, we give you good on that. In terms of content creation, we're really looking for, do you share knowledge and meaningfully interact with peer posts? I usually do, Mark, is I usually come down here to the activity and I'll look at all the posts that somebody has, and I'll look between post comments, and I'll see like, okay, there was a post here from a month ago, and there was a post here from 2 months ago, post here from 3 months ago. So it looks like you're on a once a month, barely, type of. And so back to your point about somebody who posts every day, there's not a lot of content creation. There's not a lot of activity that's going on here. Even from a comments perspective, this comment was a month ago. This comment was a month ago. So back to what you had mentioned earlier about the friend that you had who was constantly putting out content on LinkedIn. Like I see this as a failure of managing your LinkedIn profile appropriately. And so I'll give something like this content career, I'll give this a pour because you're actually just not doing it very, very well.
Can you go back to the post real quick? Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Can you see what the post was or that month-to-month cadence? I'm kind of curious on what they're. If I recall, if I just saw, keep going down, sir, and down. So it looks like you're just doing certifications once a month, if I'm correct, right?
That's how I'm seeing that too. Yeah.
So you're just banging out certification after certifications. To me, I'm not saying it's impossible, right? Like it's definitely possible to do it, but are you actually retaining the information, or are you just passing it just to pass the test?
That's point.
The reason I don't like certifications.
That's a good point.
For me as a person, I can't take certifications because my brain automatically wants you just to pass. That's just how I am. Right? I rather just do the training and learn and do everything on my own. I rather learn the hard way, which is like bang my head against the desk until I figure it out.
Yeah.
Compared to taking a cert. Obviously, certs, everyone has their own opinion about it, but so for something like this where I see it once a month cadence, I'm really gonna. If you get the interview, I'm really gonna hound on asking you these questions because once a month cadence. I'm not impossible, but at the same time, are you really retaining that information?
It gets back to your point. It's a thread that we can pull on to determine if are you just doing it for the sake of doing it, or are you retaining the knowledge and able to bring the value to the organization by actually having the knowledge that's associated with these things.
Yep.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. That's a good catch. It's a very good catch. Your elevator pitch, we determined your elevator pitch was good. That was one of the things that Mark picked up on immediately. My job is to help organizations accomplish its mission. That's that's short, sweet, straight to the point from an elevator pitch perspective, and I love it. You have no aspiring. I have a personal pet peeve, Mark, where anybody who puts inside of their pitch here, aspiring cybersecurity professional, aspiring ethical hacker, aspiring whatever, I want to take the LinkedIn profile and shove it into the blender and turn it into mincemeat.
Yep, I agree with you.
Your length, again, short and sweet. I think your length is pretty good. Had no issues with your length. Your experience section. So I usually come down here to experience, and at a minimum, like the minimum acceptable experience is that you just copied everything that was on your resume and you put it in here, right? That's maximum effort that I think most people put into their experience. Again, the 3 bullet points still apply. I think if you want to go above and beyond, you kind of apply the same thing that you apply to a resume, you apply it to here. But hey, you have something that at least gives somebody an indicator that you have some experience out there. And so I usually call this one like an average, right? I think recommendations are super low effort. Like, regardless of whether Mark, if you can, feel free to disagree with me on this one because you've already voiced that you think LinkedIn is the new Facebook. But regardless of what you think about LinkedIn, I do think that there will be somebody who will look and see a recommendation from somebody that you've worked with or worked for or worked next to, and that will help influence their decision. I think it's a low effort, net positive. There's no negative by having a recommendation. And so therefore it should automatically be something that you strive to do because it will always equate to most likely a positive, in my opinion.
Are you talking about the endorsement part where they endorse you?
Less the endorsements, but actually like a full-blown recommendation. So like down here, right here, right? Recommendations.
Oh, okay. That's very rare. Very rare I see that though.
And that's my point. That's my point is you should strive to have recommendations from people because, I mean, you never know who's going to come down here and see who recommends you.
That's a good point.
I've got old commanders on here, right? From the military, people who have done directors of operations for cyber, right? Other instructors that I've worked with. I've got hackers. Where's the Bryce Galbraith, right? SANS principal instructor, right? And owns a company, right? So these are people who are going to vouch that you are who you say you are and that you're good at what it is that you do. I think this is low effort, and I think a failure to do that is taking a chip off the table that could end up being pretty significant for you.
Usually, I I would disagree, but like I never, like I said, it's so rare
Yeah.
that I have never seen that before, but I might start doing that myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you've got no recommendations. I'll give you none for that. Education and certs. You got tons of skills. You got license and certifications listed here. You got your education listed here. So, and again, kudos for having the Pluralsight link there so that people can go see your Pluralsight logo. So definitely give you a superior on that one. So 80
Hey.
on your LinkedIn. Good job. Everybody give a round of applause. Give a round of applause for Jonathan for his 80 on his LinkedIn. Let's go back and do that. You ready to head to the next resume?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go to resume number 2. We'll reset the rubric. All right. Does this LinkedIn profile work? It does. Awesome. Sweet. We'll do. There we go. We'll pull the LinkedIn up in the other window. All right. So go for it.
Okay.
Have at it. Jump right into it.
There's a lot of links. Okay. First, right, not reading anything. The first thing I see is a lot of formatting issues. I'm a very big stickler. A lot of people don't think formatting is that important. The spaces, the capitalizations, the typos. I'm not saying you have typos, but if you've done report writing like I have, you will notice every little thing. So, for example, if I see like 3/2022 -present, little things like that ick me. This is my personal opinion. Capitalize the P, add spaces there. I don't like the number format of dates. I like using, MAR, 2016, Feb 2016. Have a cadence or have a common theme.
Yeah.
Just little things like that stand out. That's how I feel about it. In terms of, let me see your summary. Also, why is your font on top, location, phone number, email, like font like 7? Am I the only one that's okay?
No. It's definitely pretty odd. I'm not sure if this is a problem with converting to PDF, but again, let's just make sure that this is like not jacked up when,
as well as the white spaces. Separate the white spaces with either a pipe or something.
Yeah.
Don't just use white spaces. But let me read your summary. Results driven. Selling robot for professional serial. See, this is I actually like this.
Okay.
Like it's not
talk
bad.
to me. Talk to me. What do you like about it?
He starts off. I'm assuming it's a he, or they start off with just going who they are. Strong technical background, Python, JavaScript, automation framework, such as Selenium robot framework. Awesome. I know you're an engineer right off the bat without reading anything. I know that you have some scripting background. I know that for results driven, I'm supposed to, based on, and I'm seeing already, some numbers related to what we talked about in the last resume, right? What value did bring to the company? I see a 30% there.
Oh yeah.
Proficient in securing cloud platforms, Azure, AWS, Awesome.
Yes.
That's a very
I love this line. I love that line.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
And skill in crafting, implementing security. Like this is an incident response plan. So this shows to me you are a scripter, which is kind of hard to find sometimes, and for entry level security professionals. You have experience in cloud, which is a big plus, as well as not only AWS, you have Azure and GCP, as well as you have incident response, proactive incident response experience. So incident response plans, right? Maybe you just put that there, but obviously, that's a big plus in my mind.
Yeah.
Demonstrate leadership through mentoring. That means already, I love that line. I didn't have to finish it. Demonstrate leadership. It shows to me that you care about the industry. It shows to me that you care about, this role, meaning you are willing to go above and beyond, take some of your time out of your day and mentor those that need help. I love that. In my opinion, security is not 9 to 5. It's 9 to whenever the work is done. But like having this, be your hobby, it sounds like, as well as, you're really passionate about it. It demonstrates it right away throughout this whole summary.
I agree. I like this summary. It's short and sweet. You're very specific, right? Results driven security engineer. To Mark's point, I'm looking at you like, cool, you're a security engineer and you have a scripting background. Cool. Let's find you, some roles doing Splunk work. Let's find you some roles doing, SOAR, threat detection. Yeah. Threat hunting, like lots of good stuff in this first line. It just tells me like I could put you to work today and you'd be super, super effective. I've harped ad nauseum about how important cloud is. And so seeing this as a second, bullet point, like I care more about your proficiency in securing cloud than anything on-prem, period, dot, end of the day.
Yeah.
Like this is enough for me to be like, okay, now we can have a conversation. We can start talking somewhere.
It's really good.
Yeah. So this is, we're going to definitely we're going to do superior, one of the rare superiors that I give on relevance summary, because I do agree with that 100%.
Technical skills, I think it can be cleaned up though, in my mind. Wait, there's a different. I think that's fine. The little line above technical skills is kind of like weird, but
this little gray one right here.
Yeah. I think your skills shouldn't just be randomized, meaning like you just type down words. I think they should be categorized. Meaning, for example, if you have scripting experience, you put your Python, your JavaScript, your Golang all together, put your cloud together, put your backend, your front end all together. That's just my opinion about it. It's just easy to read for the eye. I like the piping. It looks clean, but in terms of like, readability, I think you can clean it up even further.
Yeah. Go ahead. I was gonna say, like I'm immediately gonna go to unsat.
I was about to say. I think you're about to say is this word soup.
Yep, it's word soup. I see that, and my mind immediately goes to unsat on this. Like, and again, I'll say like I said on the other one. If you have these skills, I'd much rather see them down here. And if you can't put them down here, then I think that I told you, Mark, we were direct on this stream, and so this is going to be kind of one of those first like little gut punches that I'm going to give to the community on this one. If you put it up here, but you can't write a meaningful bullet that talks about how you use JavaScript, are you really proficient in it? Does it really matter?
Yeah. Everything should align, right? Like if I see it in your summary, I should see it in your skills, I should see it in your projects, I should see it in everywhere, right? Like,
100%.
That's what I mean by like, do you really know your stuff? Another maybe avenue you can take, and I've seen this before and I kind of like it, is instead of the word soup, you can do areas of expertise. I don't know if you've seen that before, Neil.
I have, yeah.
What do you think about that? I kind of like it. It just keeps it simple in terms of, if I see it already in your summary and I should see it in your bullet points, you can just keep it simple, like areas of expertise, scripting, content building, cloud.
So if we keep area of expertise at the macro level, so to your point, you hit the nail on the head, right? Python, JavaScript, React, right? PowerShell, Bash. These are all programming. These are all languages, scripting languages, something like that. And so, yes, if your area of expertise is proficient in multiple scripting languages, that's an area of expertise that I'm happy to see on a resume, because then to Mark's point, when I see that, I'm going to say, cool, what other type of scripting languages are you proficient in? And I'll ask that during the interview to get that out of you, but I don't need to see it on the resume.
Gotcha. I should see a GitHub. I feel like I must see a GitHub link sometime soon.
I have a feeling that might be. Oh no! Yeah. I'm not going to click on a personal link, but I have a feeling it might be that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So go to professional experience. We talked about the data already. I think the format, obviously, just the spacings and everything. Let me read your bullet points. See, this is actually not as bad as I. Wait, this is actually not a bad bullet. Like the bullet points itself aren't actually that bad. Like the second one is right on the money in terms of like what I care about, in terms of value, right? Just leadership and mentoring, training, for sure. That sense too. For the last bullet point, demonstrate leadership by mentoring, training, student staff. If you can be a little bit more specific in terms of like how many junior staff members you mentored, it does matter. Like,
it does.
It could be one person. It could be junior staff, meaning like entry level students. It could be junior staff, meaning like just people under you. So be specific in that nature, because it shows to me your capabilities of leadership as well as project management.
I generally like numbers, right? So like what Mark talks about is I love numbers. If you don't put numbers, then I'm going to ask you in an interview. And honestly, if you even make it to the interview because you didn't include numbers first and foremost. And so wow me at the onset by putting the numbers in the resume.
Yeah. Like numbers everywhere. I want to see statistics. I want to see, if you did any terms of revenue, like for example, if I see security, deal with the client XYZ to, whatever revenue, top of the head. But
Yeah.
you kind of get where I'm going at, right? It's
Yeah.
put more on the paper than you think you may need. Best
Yeah.
way to put it.
Something else that when I look at this experience, I don't know if you saw this either, but 2016 to 23, that is 7 years of experience. 7 years of experience, and you have 3 bullets.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. So yeah, I should see at least 6
Yeah.
bullet points.
Like there's, I mean, like I won't put a number on it like Mark did, but I see 3 and I'm going, like that's a questionable, thing on a resume.
Yeah, I should see more engineering things too. There's only 1 engineering, 1 security, and then 1 really behavioral. Best way to put it. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't get that.
Yeah, that's a red flag for me, right?
That is like, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be so, it's super weird how I think this may be also part of Mark's point when we talk about making sure that everything's aligned, but you've got 2019 to 2023 here, but then you've got 2016 to 2023 here. Not sure what the date difference is. Those are those little nuances and considerations that you want to be cognizant of, because that brings a lot of those. I don't know if you've seen this, Mark, but those oftentimes could even disqualify you before you even get to the interview process because they see that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I'm actually kind of confused myself, but that's a good point. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Add more. Like, you have a great start, by the way. Like, great start. But you just need to add more, and that's not a problem.
Yeah.
So,
I also, your bullet points are still a little, again, back to my 3 rules, right? What, so what, now what? You still have a bunch of what bullets. You have 1 so what bullet, which was this one right here. And so it's still missing. I still think the bullets are incomplete.
Yeah, better than last one though. But it's a good start for sure. It's definitely a good start. All right.
So looks like we've got project work down here a little bit.
So I don't like pursuing anything that has the word pursuing or actively taking. Or
this one right here. Gotcha.
I don't like those. Like, if I see currently studying for Security Plus or taking the exam, I don't like that. It's actually a negative in my opinion, because if you say on your resume, expected by December 2022, as we all know, interviews can take 4 to 6 months to get even a call. And in January, and you haven't gotten your Security Plus, why? What's the, that's a big red flag to me. Instead of your hack the box, I would just either link it or just, not high level, but put a detailed overview of what you've done to hack the box. Because as you know, you can go different modules with it, reverse engineering, you can go OSINT, you can go, it's a response. So you can dive deeper on that end as well. But don't put pursuing.
Yeah, a lot of comments that I'll get and questions that I get is how to show experience that isn't like real hands-on work experience. I oftentimes advocate for putting the hack the boxes, the try hack me's, the stuff like this onto resumes to show that experience. I agree with Mark. This doesn't really show experience. No. You're just kind of talking about like, yeah, I'm doing this thing, right? Even this with completed the junior penetration tester learning path, I would still personally, when I look at this, I'd like to see it almost in resume format that talks about what did you learn, what did you gain knowledge-wise from completing the junior penetration testing learning path. I think that's more impactful than just saying, hey, I completed the junior penetration testing learning path.
Exactly. Because for me, what a junior pen tester may not be what a junior pen tester try hack me thinks of, right? Or vice versa, or whatever Neil thinks of. So you need to be detailed. I agree with you in terms of like you should keep the the hack the box to try hack me's, but for sure the resume bullet points format. Yeah.
I do like these blog posts. I'm seeing the links down at the bottom. Looks like they go to various pages. Looks like we do have a GitHub project for him. I do like this.
Oh yeah. This is awesome too. Like having each link, it shows that you're like into industry. It shows that you're passionate about it. That's what it shows to me.
Yeah. So here's his GitHub profile. Here's all the InfoSec stuff. I like this. This is nice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's very nice.
Cheat
Cheat sheets.
sheets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, it shows that you have passion. It shows
Yeah.
that you're going a little bit above and beyond in terms of like what you can do to, show that you really care. So,
I very much like this. I think maybe it's a little too long. You have a lot here.
Yeah, I think you should keep it all tight in terms of like just have one GitHub and then highlight your top, wherever you think your top projects are. You don't need to list every GitHub project out there.
Yeah. Let's can we see? Okay, so I saw this. Somebody was making fun of this on Twitter the other day. Was like, oh, we see a bunch of people dropping that they've got GitHub projects and stuff like this, but then they'll come to their contributions over the last year and they'll kind of see how sporadic it is. So, Mark, I don't know if you got an opinion on this, but I think that there may be some caution that you have if you put together a GitHub profile, where if you did one commit with everything on here and then you actually haven't done any updates or anything else like that, for a year or something like that, that could kind of like be a negative for you. And so if you're going to do this, I think I would almost say, let's make sure you're actually being active and participating actively in your GitHub project management and not just saying, well, I've got one, so hire me type of thing.
You should not look at my GitHub then.
There you go.
My GitHub is like, it looks like I did not fill out the multiple choice questions. I'm lazy. All right. So I commit once in the blue.
Right.
But hey, for an engineer, it makes sense. It depends what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah. I agree with that. Like that's why I said, like, I don't think that we're there in cyber just yet to where like people are going to be overly picky if you haven't like committed every day to a GitHub project. It's not like going for a developer job, right? Where you're probably, if you're doing a portfolio as a developer, you probably want to have pretty regular commits. But I think that it's something that could come up in that resume conversation.
Yeah, for sure. It depends on exactly what we said, right?
Yeah.
If you're applying for an engineering role, then that matters. Honestly, like I'm looking at the rest of the resume.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that stands out to me, because my background is the incident response side. Like you built a playbook, enhanced response prep. Yeah, to safeguard AWS cloud infrastructure. Needs more details there, but like,
yeah,
if you're trying to get in the industry, like this is a really good start. You just, again, what me and Neil said is you need to cut this down, right? You have a lot of GitHub projects. Just keep the high top, maybe 2 or 3 out there that you want to showcase.
Yeah.
In my, actually kind of like looking back at all of this, it looks like your projects are more significant, if that's English, than your professional experience.
Which is scary. And again, I get back to like, if this data is true, that's scary.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're doing this right now part-time. It says present. I would, my kind of gut is kind of moving these projects to the top. But like, I don't know, because this is part of your gig. So what I would do, right, is just keep the University of California, Berkeley, right? Keep it high level in terms of what you do as a TA. But in terms of your projects, I would actually put that under your skills.
Yeah.
Like, because that's vulnerability assessment as a TA, incident response playbooks. I'm assuming you know everything what you're doing. Infrastructure, network security. Like this is like, like mid-tier stuff.
This is good stuff. Good. This is really good stuff. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Like your engineering thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I love everything from secure Azure infrastructure monitoring, everything from here down. If I saw this on a resume, I'd be seriously impressed.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I wouldn't, honestly, like this even beats your try hack means your hack the box.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Really. Like, I don't even care about your try hack means hack the box at that point. Like
10 of 10 agrees.
More about your projects.
Yeah. All right, let's drop some resume rubric stuff on here. Experience. We're gonna go with poor because it's really you've got some questionable stuff here.
For sure.
Word soup, you're getting an unsat on word soup. Length, I'm gonna give you a poor, and I'm gonna give you a poor because this section down here is obnoxiously long. And then bullet points, you're getting 1 rule because you only really had 1 bullet point that was 2 rules. So you got 57 on your resume. Let's head on over to LinkedIn. Go for it.
All right. I'm going to bring it up on mine.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
The overlay's coming up. Let me see. So, hi. Alrighty. Target. Oh, principal associate technology. Wait, did it show principal associate on his resume? I don't think it did, right?
It did not. No.
Is it outdated? But Dark Unicorn Group, I don't know what that is, but it looks like a cybersecurity or like a cyber.
This is
little.
Yeah, this is part time.
Oh yeah, this is different, kind of, right?
Yeah, it is.
Goldman Sachs internship. Why is that not there? PwC internship. Hey, that's for you, Neil.
Yeah.
But I should be seeing that on your
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious why you don't put that there.
That's a very good question. Why do you not have associate QA engineer on there? Oh no, that is Internet Brands. Yeah, you're missing a lot. Yeah, you're missing a lot.
The Dark Unicorn Group. I'm very curious on what that is. It sounds very interesting to me. Wait. Oh, he puts in the about like a TLDR of who he is. This is now that's kind of like a red flag to me. Like if I see all this stuff and I see your resume, either two things: either you submitted the resume late or you didn't update it, and or you're kind of just don't really have everything or don't really understand everything. Because the PwC, Goldman Sachs plus the projects, like that is really good start.
Yeah, this keeps throwing red flags for me.
Yeah,
this keeps throwing red flags.
Yeah.
Look
at his University of UCLA, the Berkeley one. Like all of his, I guess, tasks that he'd done. Like I should be seeing this too in terms of your skills. In terms of like, I see Ansible there. I see OWASP. I see Burp Suite. Like, I guess I don't know. I guess you're scared to put it on there, but like it's good stuff, man.
Yeah. If this is legit skills, like there's a lot of miscongruency between your LinkedIn and your resume that I think. So let's do this. Your profile picture gets a superior. Your banner gets a superior. You've got socials and a profile link for a superior. Let's check out your content creator. We'll look at your activity. 3 weeks. 1 month.
1 month.
Yeah, 1 month. 1 month. Right. You comment? Do you at least comment on a bunch of stuff? 1 month, 1 month, 2 months. Yeah, so you're not huge. We'll give you poor on that. Your elevator pitch.
The TLDR summary.
Yeah.
Oh, that one too. Yeah, it depends if you're looking at that or the other one.
Yeah, it's either this one. This one I don't really like very much. It doesn't. I mean, this is just like this is a repeat of all the jobs that you've got. Like that's definitely an unsat there. You don't get any aspiring, which is good. Your length is average. I don't really have anything to complain about with your length. Let's talk about your about section though. Your about section definitely leaves a lot to be desired here. I would definitely. You don't really talk about the solutions you solve. Like, and again, this is really hard. What makes this hard to give you advice is the miscongruency that exists between your experience here and your resume. So it's really hard to tell, like, what are you trying to achieve? What are you really good for? What jobs do you really want to try to go for? Like, what problems do you solve? That's the problem that I'm having when I look at this, this profile of you as a person. I don't know who you are and how to fit you into my organization, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. Just a little Python wrong.
Yeah. Give it average there. Let's check recommendations really quick. No recommendations. None. Education and certs. Got education. You got a couple licenses down here. So give you good for that. 73 on the LinkedIn.
I don't know which is true or not, the resume or the LinkedIn. That's the thing.
And I think that's an important point. Way, I think, is how you pronounce that. Hugh. I think that's the key that we're seeing here is that there's such a miscongruency between what we see here on the resume. And again, you have to understand the reason that we're looking at these two together, and Mark, love your opinion on this as well, is because if you submit a resume, as the hiring manager, I'm going to go to your LinkedIn and I'm going to look at your LinkedIn, right?
That's the first thing you're going to look at.
Yeah. And so like, if I don't see the exact same thing, and again, it doesn't necessarily need to be the exact same thing, but if it looks this off, I'm like, oh, this is a red flag. Like, I'm not even asking you to come in for an interview because I'm like, something seems so wrong here.
Yeah, it's definitely like, Yeah.
Okay. There's a question coming in from chat that I'm going to push up here, and I'll let you answer this one. It's going to kind of go over my screen here. But what's wrong with aspiring? And you kind of talked about this with the pursuing as well. Do you want to kind of hit that again?
Sure. It's just an overused word. So I don't know if you, Neil, hate this word too. I hate the word hacker. I rather see the word pen tester. It's just so saturated in media and just, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's just a pet peeve of mine, but like there's other words out there that you can use that describes who you are. Aspiring is kind of like that shortcut, right? Like resumes do two things, right? It obviously shows me who you are, but it also shows me your technical writing skills, right? And that's what a lot of people fail to realize is, grammar and everything, writing is, no matter where you go, you're going to need it. So for me, don't use aspiring because it's that shortcut. It's just like overused everywhere. Use other words. Let me see what you can, come up with.
I hate aspiring because I think that from a psychological perspective, if I read that as a hiring manager, I immediately get the sense that you don't have the confidence in your own ability to do any job whatsoever, right? You're telling me up front, I don't believe in my skills and ability enough to apply for this job. And so I'm hoping that you feel bad enough of the fact that I'm coming up as an aspiring pen tester or an aspiring SOC analyst that you'll give me a job and you'll train me. And it's not to say that I don't already know that when I hire you. I'm going to be able to look at your resume and see what your skill level is and know that I'm going to have to train you. But I want to, and I particularly feel about this when we talk about SOC analyst, incident responder type roles, is I do want to hire somebody who is confident in their self and confident in their skills and confident in the fact that I may not know everything, but when I come into your org, I'm going to give you my all and put myself in the best position possible to make you, the org, and myself as successful as possible. And I just don't think aspiring or pursuing or those types of adjectives give a persona that I think highlights that you're ready to do the job.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head on that one. Yeah, for sure.
Somebody says, is future job role a better way to say it? No, I don't think that is. I don't like in summaries like this. Yeah, in summaries like this, I've seen like seeking future job as no. Absolutely hate that.
Desperation.
Yes, that's a fantastic way to put it. It shows desperation, right? Yeah. I think the worst thing that you can do in your job search is not be confident in yourself. And I know that that's super hard to do. Like we're gonna pull this back into here to kind of talk about this a little bit because I think this is important. I think that it is important, even if you know a level 1 about whatever your craft is, that you display the maximum amount of confidence. I'm not saying ego, but the maximum amount of confidence that you can perform at that level 1 maturity at whatever it is you're being asked to do. I think that goes miles and away better than trying to get somebody to have pity for you or sympathy for you by saying that you're an aspiring X or you want to do X or you're hoping to find a future role as a pen tester. I think that level of confidence, when you display that, I think that's what I want to see in a text-based description of you when I look at your persona as a profile.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard of a pity hire. Have you?
No, I've never heard of a pity hire.
Yeah. So yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice there. Like confidence is key, especially for Like I said in the beginning of this, I think it's harder for entry level people to get a job nowadays, right? So like you need to sell yourself. You gotta show confidence. Yeah,
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. So hopefully that there's hopefully that kind of answers it. I'll answer this one, then I want to kind of get to the next resume. This one says, I guess my question is, what do you say? And what I would say, what I would put in there is, I am a pen tester, right? If you've taken, and again, and this isn't lying, I don't view this as lying, and I say this, again, with confidence, and I tell this story quite frequently. When I was coming out of the military to get my first pen tester role in 2013, the military didn't have a pen tester. I wasn't a pen tester in the military because the military didn't have pen testing. I was an offensive security person for the NSA. My actual job title was network warfare operator, right? And so could you imagine the difference of persona that I put forward when I said, no, I translated, I am a pen tester, because I did pen testing activities, albeit for a nation state, but I did those activities and I portrayed a level of confidence that said, yes, I'm a pen tester because I believed in my skills and abilities, because I had proven them in a way that allowed me to present a level of confidence. And so what I think I would encourage people to say is, if you view yourself as a penetration tester and you've done penetration testing on Hack the Box and Try Hack Me, and you've taken courses, you've taken your eJPT or your PMPT or your OSCP or whatever it is, why do you insist on waiting for you to get an official job description that says you're a pen tester? Put pen tester on your resume.
Titles mean nothing, in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah, they mean nothing.
And so that's my point, is if you're looking for something to say what you are. If you're a pen tester, call yourself a pen tester.
If you're a student, you can say early professional. I've seen that before too.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop on to the next one. That was a good dialogue. Let's go on to resume number 3.
Sure, let's do it. Number 3. Okay.
What are we looking at for time?
Certification at the top. We are 7:14.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. We do have a GitHub, and we have a LinkedIn, so we'll pull that open in a new tab. Names.
He is not living on Prisma.
Okay, so taking the third person perspective, that's interesting.
Yeah. Names from. I don't hate it.
Go for
it. The
objective
is. It's a unique take, right? So they go from summary all the way down to getting right into your skills, which I don't mind. Experiencing scripting languages, including Python, Bash, and C++, good knowledge of web testing. I wouldn't use the word good knowledge. I would just keep it vague.
Yeah.
Ability to think like an hacker to probe an idea of potential attack vectors. Excellent task management. Excellent task management. Period. Ability to handle multiple projects simultaneously. Okay. Experience with security toolkits such as Kali Linux, Mostly. It's very high level.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I feel like you can be a little bit more detailed. But I guess that's kind of the purpose of your objective, right? To be high level, in my opinion. It kind of sets the stage for what I'm supposed to read, right? Like, it tells me that you have scripting experience. It tells me that you have some offensive security experience, as well as you know how to. You have some you have some soft skills experience. So I read here. Deliver detailed reporting and presentation to international clients. I should be seeing that in your resume, right?
Yeah.
That's just how I see it already.
Yeah.
But I don't hate it. No.
I'm with you. I've immediately I'm like, oh, it's very third person. I think the third person perspective, I've seen that a couple of times. I'm like you. I don't hate it.
I don't love it.
Yeah, it doesn't make me fall in love with it, but it's not. I wouldn't disqualify a resume for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, back to Mark's point about staying consistent, you're third person up here, but then you say, I also possess.
Yeah.
So you kind of slip a little bit there.
Yep.
This should be, let's stay consistent with the pronouns across the board if you're going to do that.
Yeah, and then kind of same thing with bullet points, right? Like we
Yeah.
talked about. Just like there's some that are good, there's some that are really not that good, and then there's really ones that are just so vague to the point where it's like, okay, it's like, why is this here?
Yeah,
But
this one I think is the one that stands out the most.
exactly,
Is like
exactly.
that's wasted. That to me, that's wasted white space right there.
Exactly. Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly how I see it too.
Yeah.
I'm glad we saw the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's going to certifications, right? We see OSCP in progress. Again, I don't think it's good practice or best practice to have some things in progress. Yeah, I don't think that's ideal at all. Like you're actually doing yourself a disservice.
So
What do you think?
So I've cheated this a little bit. The way that I've kind of done this before in the past, right, is instead of certifications, right, I'll say education and training. Because what is the education you get before you get OSCP?
Yeah.
Pen testing with Cali, right? So
sorry, was that?
Yeah. It was directed at you. That's all right. It was pen testing with Cali, right? So you could put pen testing with Cali here in education and training, and then OSCP in parentheses, and then you get to drop this off completely. You're not not lying on your resume because you're taking the education and training for pen testing with Cali, which is going to lead to the OSCP eventually. You don't have to put the in progress on there. That way it gets you, and my goal and objective when I give this advice, right, is to get you to an interview, right? And the reason for that is if I get you to an interview and you get to sit in a seat and somebody says, oh, you have your OSCP, you could answer, no, I don't have my OSCP, but I'm currently taking pen testing with Cali. Or you could say, is there a specific question about the OSCP that you would like for me to answer? And you force the interviewer to say, well, how would you do, DNS zone transfers? Okay, cool. Let me rattle off how to do DNS zone transfers. How do you find EIP when doing buffer overflow exercise? Here, let me tell you how to do that, because hopefully you've done that in pen testing with Cali, right? Those are things that are not dependent on the certification, but they are dependent on you taking the training. And so now it becomes irrelevant if you've got your OSCP. It's irrelevant if it's in progress because you have the knowledge and you're able to explain the knowledge to the person who interviews you.
That's a good cheat. That's a really good cheat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you first. No, you first.
Would you keep? Would you want the certifications this high up though? I personally wouldn't.
I don't. I absolutely hate certifications this high up. I'm with you on that.
Bottom.
Yeah. Excuse me. I put all education, everything certifications. I always put those at the bottom. My perspective on that is, it may be the most important thing to the interviewer. It's not the most important thing to me. And I would rather if you're going to start at the resume and you're going to try to evaluate me, I want you to evaluate me on everything. And I want to force you to read everything at the top before you skip down to the bottom to certifications. If I can try to psychologically, hack the interview process, I want you to see all this other cool shit that I've done before the certifications in education. I want you to see that stuff before you get down to that stuff down at the bottom. Big
agree. Like, yeah. Just real quick, something pointing out is there's a lot of, we talked about inconsistency and consistency. Fonts are different. So your objective is different from your, I guess, the rest of the resume.
Yeah.
You have not really typos, grammar errors, so spacing errors. If you could see between like the first bullet point of penetration tester, there's some gaps there. Your margins are off. So you have January 2022 to present. You have March, and then you have January, like the margins way off, as well as you're using the whole month, the word of January compared to Jan 2020 to 2021. Little things like that. You may not think it's important, but it really is important. At least to me, it is. Like, it just shows attention to detail, right? Resume, again, is not just what you're listing out. The way it's presented, every little thing kind of tells me who you are as a person.
Yeah. I think Mark brings up a really good point about attention to detail. And you subtly glossed over this, Mark, when you mentioned it earlier, but I think it's worth mentioning again, right? Whether you like it or not in cyber, chances are you are going to be sitting in a role that writes a report. Right? Yeah. Whether you're pen testing, red teaming, SOC analyst, incident responder, threat hunter, GRC analyst, auditor, CISO, doesn't matter. You're going to write something for somebody else to read at some point in time.
Yeah.
And those details do speak to your professionalism and your ability to communicate in an organization. And so, like you say up here at the top, right? You've got an ability to communicate, but yet you don't have attention to detail when it comes to how you present the information that you're trying to communicate.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Little things, right? Like people may think details don't matter, but it definitely does.
100% does.
Yeah. Do you want to start with the experience?
Yeah. I'm looking at the experience now. I'm looking at pen tester.
I think it's too vague, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like conducted comprehensive external and OSINT and internal penetration. Like you can make that 2 different points. Like what type of penetration test are you doing? Like you can be detailed there using XYZ tools to do XYZ output, right? Like what is the output of this, right? Like collaborate closely with clients. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let's talk about transparency for a second, because I want to pivot on the vagueness that you talk about, right? This says penetration tester, and it's January 2020 to present. Let's go back to the example I just gave about leaving the military and coming out and calling myself a pen tester when I was a network warfare operator internally. Is that what you're trying to do here? And if that's what you're trying to do here, then I think this is a complete and total failure, right? If you're going to be vague here, this should not be equally vague, because you could get away with saying, well, as a penetration tester, I can't say for who, it was classified, I was working for another organization. When we get to the background check, then it could be disclosed in the background check, but it's not worth putting on the resume now. Like I think there's ways that you can hand wave the vagueness here. I don't think that you can get away with hand waving the vagueness down here, to Mark's point. I think if you're trying to say that you're not a penetration tester, what you were actually was, a cashier at a store, at a convenience store, but you're trying to give the persona of a penetration tester, I think that is all the more important why you must be detailed down here. All the more important why you must be detailed down here. And so I think that's why we're harping on the vagueness, is because you're vague here. Where did you get that experience? Did you get it with a company? Did you do it on your own? Are you trying to interpret, your hack the box, your hacking lab experience as you being a penetration tester? And so you're trying to hand wave that, or, did you actually do a penetration tester job and you just suck at writing out what it was that you did as a penetration tester? I think that's where I'm seeing the vagueness be problematic in this resume.
But sucking at writing should not be a reason that your resume is this bad. You know what I mean? Like,
agreed.
Like obviously there's gaps, so you have to work on those gaps. I've reviewed resumes before and I sent them, back to this personnel. Either they do it or they don't. And it's sometimes an ego check at that point.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so yeah, hard to agree with the vague. Like the last one, demonstrate lateral movement and data exploitation techniques to highlight potential security gaps. I get it. I know what you're trying to say, but be specific.
Why can't you talk about that? Like seriously, why can't you talk about that?
Like, what are you using to use lateral? Like you can say or leverage pigs exec to laterally move within a victim environment to do XYZ. Like something like that.
Yeah.
You have all this playground. You have all this room to play with. How you want these bullet points to portray to us, the hiring managers, right?
Yeah.
Leverage the tools. Leverage. Just be specific. That's really the best way to put it.
100%.
Yeah.
Your disc, like I would say, like to put a very, very fine point on it, you will not make it past the recruiter with a resume that is this high level. You'll never make it past the recruiter. If you're having trouble getting past the recruiter, it's because your resume is too high level. I would even argue, Mark, I'm going to be super bold on this one. You are banking on that the recruiter sees this and says, cool, they got the certifications, I'm going to send them on to the hiring manager. That's what I think you're banking on. And I think that is a terrible strategy in hunting for a job.
Yep. Big agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's smash some scores on this one really quick. Experience, we're definitely going to go unsat on experience. There's a lot here that I have a fundamental problem with.
I don't. Yeah, there's a lot. There's like a lot of vagueness.
Yeah.
Like especially with the IT technical and troubleshooting. Actually, yeah. There's just so much.
No word soup. I'll give you that you satisfied my lack of no word soup. So good on you for that one. We'll give you a superior for that. I think your length is average. You know, it's a 1-page resume, dating back to 2020. So 3 years worth of experience. We got a 2017 here.
2017, just randomly there. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you put that though? I wouldn't.
Back to your point that you had earlier with the other one, where you could make some security argument out of something like this. I absolutely would include it if the bullet.
No, 2 bullet points. I'm saying, yeah, those 2 bullet points.
Yeah. No, these 2 bullet points are useless. These are the 2 bullet points are utterly useless.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool, you're a gamer, awesome.
Yeah, I think your relevant summary is good, right? I think you've got some vagueness up in here. I mean, again, I don't hate the third person approach to this up here. I think your objective is good.
Not bad.
Yeah. Bullet points, you have barely 1 on your bullet points. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, the same theme kind of goes throughout the whole thing of like vagueness, right? The theme of vagueness is like, it's throughout the whole resume.
Yeah. So 66 on your resume. Let's head over to the LinkedIn.
Oh, what's this person? Oh, I got the link. Okay.
Yep. Somebody in chat says OSCP is good though, not enough apparently. Like, and that's what I was saying before. Like, if you're banking on you getting a job from one cert on a resume, your strategy for finding a job is way flawed. Like, there is no cert. I will die on this hill. There is no singular cert that any recruiter or hiring manager on this planet will look at and bow down and say, because you have this cert, I will hire you point blank for a job.
Yep.
Does not happen.
Say the same thing for any cert. Any cert, you can say the same thing for it, right?
100%.
People think Security Plus is like the entry level. People think Network Plus. It does not matter.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, LinkedIn.
It's kind of the same thing what we saw last time, where we see a disconnect. If you notice, HackerOne.
Oh, I'm seeing what they've done here. Look at this. They've got Bug Bounty Hunter for Bug Crowd HackerOne, which I'm instinctively not against, but they've tried to hand wave it over here.
Oh,
that's what they've done. They've said, I have pen testing experience as a bug bounty hunter for Bug Crowd and HackerOne, but I'm just going to hand wave it on my resume.
Yeah, that's not. No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. No. Also, like, you're missing, like, I'm looking at your LinkedIn right now. There's a project that either you created or maybe did you fork it over? No, it looks like you created this. The OSCP file transfer one?
Yeah, this one down here.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously it's not the best thing to have. I mean, not the the new freaking crap map exec or the new Cobalt Strike, but like, it just shows that you have passion. To me, at least, it shows me that you have passion. So add these things to your resume
without a doubt, easily. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of disconnect.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this disconnect that we're saying, right? And where did it go?
Weapon. Up.
It's probably because I'm using Edge instead of like Chrome. There it is. So and Mark, I've talked to folks when people have talked about experience. I'm a huge advocate of people going to, especially if you're wanting to be a red teamer, if you're wanting to be a pen tester, go to Bug Crowd, go to HackerOne today, sign up for it, and attempt to do bug bounties in those platforms, because at a minimum, you are doing a penetration test. Now, whether you find something or not is completely irrelevant, right? Because that could be said if you're hired as a penetration tester for PwC or insert any other company here, you may not find anything as a penetration tester, and that is completely and totally normal. But what you're doing is you're running tools, you're trying to identify vulnerabilities, you're performing the acts of penetration tester. But one of to Mark's point, the disconnect that I think him and I are both seeing is that you're not doubling down on this persona that says that you're a pen tester. It doesn't reflect in your resume because you have these 3 bullets. Are you telling me that in the last almost 4 years of you being a bug bounty hunter, the best 3 bullets that you could put together are these 3 right here? You never ran SQL Map. You never ran Burp Suite. You never ran insert any web testing framework here. You never tried to exploit cross-site scripting. You never tried to exploit SQL injection. You never tried any of those exploits. You never found in 4 years, you've never submitted a vulnerability, even if it was a duplicate. You never submitted a vulnerability. I think that's the disconnect that I'm seeing between these two. Mark?
Oh, 100% that. It's just knowing that you're a bug, you do HackerOne and BugCrowd and all these other things. Your resume should be screaming to me that you have experience. But the way that you wordsmith your bullet points show to me that you are, to me, either you're trying to be a pen tester or you are a junior pen tester. That's what it screams to me, right? Like, but I know from what we're looking at LinkedIn, from our discussions here, like you have experience. It's just you decide to kind of mitigate that. So yeah,
Wholeheartedly agree. I think you have so much room for improvement here.
Oh, yeah.
If you would embrace that persona that you are indeed a pen tester and you have been for the last 4 years. And if you were to write this resume like it was a pen testing resume, I think you could actually have a pretty compelling pen testing resume.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
You hit it up here at the top, right? Boom. There's your elevator pitch. You are a pen tester. You are empowering companies and strengthening corporate defenses via ethical hacking. I love this. I think it's awesome. Like if we put this in the rubric, right? Your profile pictures are superior. Your banner's good, right? I mean, I wouldn't call it great, but I call it good. You got no social media links. But if we were to look at things like this elevator pitch here, I'd realistically give you a superior on this elevator pitch right here. You identify as a penetration tester, and you have meaningful outcomes that you do with corporations via ethical hacking. 100%.
Yep. Hard agree.
Yeah. Let's check the content creation section. See, I'll post.
2 days ago, 3 days ago, 1 week's not bad.
Posted 2 weeks, 2 months. Yeah, we'll give you a mid on this. You got videos? 2 days. Yeah, here we go. Let's check what kind of videos you got. Okay, you got one proof of concept. Okay, yeah. I like this.
That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. That's awesome. Yeah, not bad. I think from a content perspective, I think you're good. You've got no aspiring on there anyway. I think your length is average. Like I don't see anything, super, super crazy that I think would be a detractor from a length perspective.
Oh, the third person. I don't hate it. Like I said, I really don't hate it.
Yeah, it's mid. It's mid at best. You give an average there. Recommendations. None. You see, I know this is why I put it on the. This is exactly why I put it on the rubric. To your point, nobody's thought about recommendations, but it's such an easy win to go out and get those things.
Yeah, it's a good point. I really didn't think about it like that, but
license and search, you got it. Superior, boom. 76, not bad. This is what I'm saying. You have a lot of potential. Your resume is holding you back. Everybody listen. This is an example of your resume not getting you in the door. There's a lot of potential here, and the resume is the single reason. I'll say this out loud. Your resume is the single reason you're not getting interviews right now.
100%. The way you wordsmith, everything. Like really everything.
Yeah. All right. That's that one. Let's reset and let's head on. What was that? Was that 3?
That was 3. Number 4?
Yeah, let's do number 4 next.
Okay. Oh.
No LinkedIn here, so we're just gonna do resume on this one.
You want me to kick it off?
Hold on. There was a question that I think I missed. Just got pushed to me. There it is. back on that one that we just had before. So even if we do not find a bug, it can still help to show that we know how to do the work. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And, pen testers don't always find stuff, despite what they would have you believe, despite the fact that they want you to believe that they are God's gift to black hat hacking, right? Any pen tester that tells you that they've never gone to an engagement and found nothing has not done enough pen test.
Yep.
And so, like, even if you've done 3 years of bug bounty, and even if the worst case scenario is you've done 3 years of bug bounty, you've never found anything. The next worst case is you've probably found stuff, you've submitted it, and then HackerOne or BugCrowd's told you it's a dupe and they're just not going to pay you for it, but you still found it.
It shows to me that you tried.
Yeah.
Best way to put it, right? Like, a lot of people ask, how do I get started in the industry? What am I doing that I should not, or what am I not doing that I should be doing? I don't care about that. Focus on what you find fun. If this is what you find fun and, this helps you learn, that's great to me.
Yeah. Good question, though. Good question. All right. Looking at this one, this is number 4.
I hate it. I'm sorry.
I was gonna. As soon as it came up, I was like, oh yeah, Mark's gonna hate this one.
I don't like templates. This looks like a templated resume to me. It shows to me just lack of creativity or just lack of trying. Maybe the content's good. I haven't read the content, but don't use templates. Like,
say more. Say more about that.
Sure, templates. How do I say this nicely?
Don't. We're not. Whoa. Did you forget what we are?
True.
Dude, this is cyber insecurity, baby. You don't have to say anything nicely around here.
Yeah. All right, sure. Templates to me look like you're a college student. I see the 14 years experience, but you're a college student, right? Like, a lot of people don't know how to write a resume, and that's kind of what this shows to me. You don't know how to write a resume, that you have to resort to a template. The icons are ready. That is a big red flag to me. It just screams template to me. I want to see your typical, resume format with your objective, your summary, your skills and all that. Keep it simple, right?
Yeah.
Other people like it, and by the other people I mean hiring manager or recruiters. But the technical folks, they do not care how this looks. They care about what's on paper. Obviously, if it's clean or not. But all this fancy color, all this templated formatting. I don't really care. No.
I'll put a finer point on it. I'll say it's wasted space on the paper, right? If you look at the width of this, that's detracting you from putting meaningful content over here.
Yeah, it's super hard to read too for the eye.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's really hard to read.
So ironically, somebody over in YouTube says this one is annoying. Like, right off the bat, I have to search all over the place to find the information I want. It slows me down, and if I were reviewing hundreds of resumes, I want to quickly find the. This is the feedback that Mark was talking about at the beginning, right? Like, when you instantly look at a format of a resume, and there is such a visceral response from even you all as a community who are looking at this content, like, that shows you that, like, imagine what a hiring manager is thinking about this. Like, they're not interested in looking at this.
Yeah, it looks like the best way that me and my friends joke about this stuff is like, oh, where are we dining out to eat? Because it looks like a menu.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty good.
It's like, I want a resume. I'm not trying to eat out right now. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the content then.
All right. Where are we gonna start? A summary, or you want to start the bullet points?
Oh God, that's right. I forgot. There's no summary across the left hand side. The summary's on the right hand side.
Mm-hmm. The new menu. Yep.
I hate this.
I don't like it. It's the same thing that we talked about the aspiring.
Yeah.
It kind of screams that, right? Like, what are you? It shows that you're not kind of doing anything in cyber.
Yeah.
You probably are. I haven't read the content, but you got to show that confidence that you have some experience.
One of the things that I learned early on when it came to resumes, and especially when it comes to some of the language that you use in resumes, right, is, and eager to leverage and expand on existing cybersecurity skills. Like, I as a hiring manager, want to go, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who doesn't? Like, isn't that what everybody wants to do, is to leverage and expand their existing cyber skills? Like, if I go duh at your summary, like the people who go, like the summaries that I've seen where it's like, looking to, be part of a team that is excelling and innovating in the technology space. And it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we all do. So what? Right? Like you have to be cognizant of like, when people look at it, like what are they taking away from your messaging? And that's when I look at this and I'm like, okay, good. So you're eager to work. That's all I'm reading out of this, right?
Yep. How would you feel about this? So like, this is a resume I saw from like an earned professional from like the intern days.
Mhm.
I just pulled it up. So they say dedicated to continual learning through training and certification courses, as well as weekly hands-on practice activities. What's your opinion?
I absolutely hate that because that to me for two reasons. The reason I just mentioned before, like eager to learn, I hope so. To your point earlier, like we're in this business because we love it. We're constantly learning it. We're constantly trying to achieve better stuff, and the industry is always changing around. Is you're eager to learn? God, I hope so. Or otherwise, you're in the wrong career field. But I'll put a little bit of a twist on it too. I think that's passive aggressive. I think that is passive aggressive, trying to say, listen, if you're not going to pay for me to get certifications, I don't want to work. I don't want to work here. No, not I'll do it myself. I don't want to work here.
Oh, that's a good way to put it too.
Yeah. Like when I hear you say, look, I'm passionate about learning through certifications and blah 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 blah. I see that as a CISO or as a SOC director. I'm looking at that going, oh, okay. So in my conversation, I need to be prepared to answer the question about how much money do I have to give you every year so that you can go take your obligatory certification stuff that you feel you're entitled to.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good factor, right? Like again, what we talked about, retention. We care about the resources that we're putting into you for sure. Yeah, that's a really good factor.
Yeah.
Summary.
I'm watching chat for this one because I'm waiting for chat to start screaming like, did Neil just say he didn't think that you were entitled to certifications and training when you worked for him? Let's see who picked that up. All right. So that's I hate that one and I hate this one. Like I like anything that makes me go duh really irks me.
Best way to put it, right? It's like, obviously, makes sense.
Okay, who does it, right? No, I'm looking for a job where I'm intentionally forced to be stupid. That's my objective.
Pay me $100,000, please. Yes.
All right. Summary sucks. Definitely don't like this summary at all. Obviously, if we're gonna stick with the right side, word soup all the way down. Like you're gonna get dinged. Like I'm gonna go do it right now because I hate it so bad.
Wait,
unsad.
They have a dedicated area just for phishing and endpoint security.
with phishing analysis, phish tool, and phishing prevention. This is
explain the word using the word. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's not ideal, right? Like you're just milking at this point. That's the way to put it, right? Like you're just trying to get the hit. You're trying to get past the bots.
Yes.
Which is like, hey, you have these keywords. Hey, we'll get you right through. If that works for you, that works for you. But like, it's not going to work for the actual manual people that review and read these resumes.
I would go back to what you said at the beginning, Mark, where you talked about getting jobs through networking, right?
Yeah.
Like if networking is the most successful way to get a job, I could tell you that me as a person, I'm not reading your word soup to see if it passes muster if you came from the network.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it kind of goes back to what we said, right? Like I'd rather see this in your bullet points, if anything, which I'm looking at your bullet points. I did a high level overview already. You have no mention of tools. You have no mention of skills, of anything. It's just high level overview of what you've done. So yeah, word soup for sure.
Yeah.
Like, we read the first one. The senior radio broadcast engineer.
Yeah.
Engage with the cyber blah, 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 using virus and mail. Like you can be you can make this a really, really good bullet point, right? How do you remove these viruses?
So you do it. They do it twice, right? So I just noticed this, right? So I'm checking to see. Yeah. So here under technical skills, they have malware identification, right? IDS, IPS.
But what does malware identification mean, though?
That's my point. Is like right over here where they're monitoring using virus and malware consoles. Put the tools in there. To your point,
of course. Yeah, exactly.
Put the tools in there.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, how did you remove these viruses? What did you do? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is a more meaningful bullet, right? And I think that's what Mark and I are explaining is the meaningful bullet is if you say over here that you have malware identification, IDS, IPS, you even say you've got SIM stuff down here. Look, you got Splunk. You got Splunk right here. Let's do this. Engage with the cybersecurity team to respond to systems using Splunk to identify viruses that were alerted via CrowdStrike, Falcon, promptly isolating them using Falcon console, and then using the command line interface of CrowdStrike to manually remove viruses and malware.
Yeah. Very, very detailed.
Very detailed, using the tools. That shows me that you know the tools and the tools capabilities that are used in those. Now you're missing the what and the so what, which we can get into later, but that's how you can get away from word soup over here by putting them into the actual bullet itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, most of his bullet points or most of their bullet points are missing that output factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a common theme, right? Like a lot of people have that issue, but it shouldn't be that way. Like, again, if we're hiring managers, why do we care? Like, why do I care? I don't care if you like train junior staff, ensure successful project execution, and employee. Okay, cool, awesome. Like, why do I care about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Remember, it's what, so what, now what. That's my rule when it comes to it, right? So you trained junior staff to ensure successful project execution and equipment troubleshooting. That is one giant what. How many people? What did you train them on? When you trained them, did you see a measurable increase of your successful project execution? If you trained them to ensure, you should have a metric that you're measuring against to enforce that you did ensure successful project execution. If you didn't, it's a bullshit bullet. Mm-hmm. There you go. Mm-hmm. I said it.
Yeah. 2014. I'm seeing stuff from 24. Okay, so he worked at this. Interest clever. I'm just reading the rest of it. Like you have the radio broadcast engineer one. The first bullet. Clever idea to ensure 9% was. Like, it's not bad. Actually, it's not that bad. You know, like it's not bad. But why can't you do this the rest with the proficient in SolarWinds?
This is an example. This is an example of what and so what, right? So you collaborated with the team and you ensured 90% compliance. You need a so what, which was, during my entire time, we never received one audit finding, right? Things like that.
Yeah, there's room for growth for sure on these. Yeah.
All right, let's do experience.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I don't mind the sprinkling. Like, there's a good attempt here sprinkling cybersecurity stuff through a radio broadcast engineer, which I'm a huge fan of. Like, I think Mark, you and I talked about this at the onset. Like, configuring broadcast application while utilizing the CIA of data. Again, shitty bullet, but I like that you're trying to shoehorn cyber into a radio broadcast engineer role. I'm a huge supportive of that. I'm gonna give it a good because you did attempt to do that. I think that's a good move on your part.
But the freaking right hand menu needs to go.
The right hand menu has got to go. We're gonna smash the pour on there. We're gonna smash an unsat for relevant summary, and both of those are because of this right hand bar over here.
Wait, what? Hold on, I'm sorry for laughing, but I'm seeing something. I just scrolled down. I like seeing your hobbies and everything, but if I see only accomplishments related outside of security, but nothing related to security, I don't think you should add them there.
Oh, you talk about things like caring for kids.
No. So no, sorry. So all the way down, all the way down. So he's telling me that he's really good at chess, as well as he's really good, or they're really good at soccer. But there's no security related stuff in here. I think
this one, the personal accomplishments here. You know why I didn't see that? Because it's on the right hand side.
It's on the menu. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's on the menu. So that's a good one. This actually came up the last month when we did the resume review, and so let's double down on this. It was funny because and I'll be transparent. Somebody in the last resume review had that they were an Eagle Scout on the resume, and I bashed it pretty hard about, I didn't think that. Yeah, I bashed it pretty hard that I thought that was like BS to put on there from a personal accomplishment. I'll let everybody know in transparency. Matt Eberhart, my boss, the CEO of Query, he talked to me after the stream and voiced that he disagreed with me on that, and I was really appreciative of him for that, because I didn't find any value in it. But it brought up the whole conversation around personal accomplishments. And so you're saying that when you see this one, when you see personal accomplishments, you don't like doing the personal accomplishment stuff?
I don't like it if it's only personal, if it's only hobbies.
Mm.
If there are security related projects here and or security related accomplishments, then it's fine, right? Like something I like to do on, during interviews is ask the interviewee at the end of this is, what do you do outside of security?
Mhm.
Like, it tells me who they are as a person, right? Like, I think it's fine during resumes, but it shouldn't just, I don't know. I just think is you need to have a balance of like security mixed with like personal accomplishments.
Mm.
I don't even like, okay, cool. You're really good at chess. 1v1 me, you know what I mean? It's like,
1v1 me, bro.
exactly. Like, I don't know. That's how I see it.
I'm I definitely ask people during interviews, what I would consider to be non-cyber related questions. I don't want to call them personal. I'm not going to ask you about wife and kids or things like that. But I will ask you, like, what do you do for fun? Or when you're not battling malware or hunting for bad guys or breaking into buildings or things like that. Like what is fun for you? I do think that those things during the interview process help you to identify culturally if you're going to be able to gel with a particular person. And I don't think that it has a place on a resume, though. And that's where my Eagle Scout comment came from last time. And that's where I agree with you, Mark, on this one. When it comes to personal accomplishments, like a complete waste of space.
Yep. Well, exactly. Wasted space. That's what I say. Wasted space. You can put a lot of this is wasted space on the right anyway, but like, that's like, really it is wasted space. Like, you can put projects there. You can put, conferences you attended. If you did, courses, like it doesn't aid anything for your resume.
Without a doubt. We've got, I just looked at the time and saw the time. I want to hit a couple of questions that have been queued up for quite a while. Just so everybody knows, we've got 4 pages of questions that have been queued up for a while, and I do want to get into these. Obviously, if you've enjoyed this commentary from Mark, you can hit !guest in chat. Looks like a couple people have done that already. You can get Mark's LinkedIn page. He's with the team at Cyber. They do a lot of great content over there. The resume rubric that we're using, we see that Sec IT guy just hit !resume in chat. That's the resume rubric. Everybody, this is publicly available. Everybody can use that resume rubric. They can go back and look at this stream on the VOD, or they can look at any of the other LinkedIn streams that we've done, and you can use the exact same criteria on your own resume and on your own LinkedIn, and I would highly encourage you to do it. And at the end of the day, if you're interested in being part of the resume reviews on the monthly basis, inside of Discord, there is a resume review channel. Get your redacted resume put into those channels, and we will do our ever-loving best, I promise you, to grab those resumes where possible, bring them in, and do the resumes. You can see that we've been at this for 2 hours. I'm sure we could go on for probably the rest of the night.
What number is this? Number 4? Wow.
Yeah, this was number 4. Yeah, exactly. Wow. So let's do some questions really quick, just because we do have quite a few questions kind of lined up here, and I'll let you start on some of these. I'm looking for ones that are specifically targeted to you. There's one. That's from Fasochi. Fasochi says, Mark, do you have examples of a blue team resume to share? Maybe not necessarily one that you can show up on screen, right, but do you have something that you can talk about when it comes to like key blue team resume content?
Sure. I don't think it really matters if it's blue team or red team. Like, I think what matters is the content you put, right? So I want to see, let's say you are a student again, or you're trying to get into industry and you don't have any experience. I want to see projects. What are you actively doing what are you actively doing to try to get into industry? Are you doing things like what we saw, where you're creating posts, you're creating tools, you're creating blogs, you have a GitHub page, or are you, creating a home lab, doing malware analysis, or, working on pen testing, right? That's what I care about. I care about passion at the end of the day. Like, I cannot stress that enough. I really, really care about passion. Only passion. Well, not only passion, but like that is the biggest criteria for me.
Mhm.
If I see that, you are in the community, you are, and I'm not talking about Neil's community. I'm talking about like the cybersecurity community.
Yep.
You're active participant in Discords or you go to conferences. That's awesome, right? Like that's what I care about.
Yeah.
You know, it's because the way I see it too is like a lot of people in this industry get burnt out. And
Yes.
we can talk about that for hours about burnt
Yes.
out. Yeah, like it's like if you do this for fun, right, great. But I want to see, if this is just for fun, great. I can limit the burnout. I can figure out, what's your cutoff as well as, again, resources I'm putting into you. So, yeah.
I think from a blue team resume perspective, I think making sure that you can display your ability to work well under pressure. I was talking with a member of this community who is working their first big Fortune 100 incident response type of company, and they're dealing with their first like at that Fortune 100 level type of incident where it goes company wide. And the experiences that he's been able to share about his revelations that he's had about being in cyber have massively changed his perspective. And so being able to think under pressure and be able to operate under pressure, I think are things that I look for in those blue team resumes.
Yeah.
This is a controversial one. I'll let you dump in on this one. If statistically you're better off moving companies after 2 years for compensation, why do you specifically look for 3 to 4 years?
Compensation meaning like I'm assuming salary.
Yeah, salary.
If you typically, I don't know if that's. I mean, I've definitely. Well, everyone's security moves after like 2 to 3 years, right? Like
Yeah.
That's kind of how it is, and it really is for the compensation factor. But me speaking,
Yeah.
if you find a team, what makes security fun is obviously the work, but the people in your team.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my team members at IBM, at Cyber, I am there because of my team members, right?
Mhm.
Like they are fun. I call them friends. Yeah, it's just we all work from remote, so it's like you see these people every day. If you find a job where they care about you, they don't just see you as a person. That is awesome as well. So I've seen people stay at their organization for 15 plus years, for 10 plus years. So yeah, I don't really know 3 to 4 years in terms of salary, in terms of everything you're getting. If that's what you're looking for, great. But you really don't know what you're getting sometimes. Sometimes you join a company and you may realize their security team's 2 people for the whole global organization. You may realize that their CISO doesn't really know what they're talking about, and there's no playbooks or there's no SOPs in progress, right? Like it's also a gamble every time you look for a new position.
The salary conversation is always super hard, right? Because like I think we've unfortunately,
I think it's jaded. Right now.
It's very jaded, and I don't think we've done ourselves any favors by creating an atmosphere that encourages people to leave a job after 2 years. I saw a TikTok the other day that was like 24 months up or out, where she was teaching a strategy as a career coach on how to move up in an organization with 2 years, or you set this goal for yourself that if you don't move up in 2 years, you're out completely. And it was like 20%. Like if you're not getting a 20% raise in 2 years, you get out and you go somewhere and you get a 20 to 30% raise in 2 years. And that's the culture that's being taught to people about how to do job hunting and job retention as an employee perspective. And I think I think it's dangerous.
I think it's a double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah. It's not to say that I don't believe in fair compensation, but I'll use the CISO dichotomy, right? Because we used to make fun of CISOs because they would only stay at a job for 3 years. And that was because you spent the first year assessing how bad the situation was and trying to make a plan. You spent the second year trying to execute on said plan. And then you spent your third year trying to get out of that organization before the plan either didn't work or you got hacked, right? And I think that creates a level of inconsistency in the security posture that ultimately makes the company less secure. And what does that say about you as an individual if all you're there is to just get your 20% up and out and you actually really don't care about making an organization secure?
They work 9 to 5 and then that's it, right? Like security is not 9 to 5, unfortunately. That's kind of how it is. I will say though this, it's easier to move laterally within an organization than to find a new position. That's what I think, at least. Yeah.
I think a lot of organizations would rather hire internally, and therefore, to your point, you can move laterally inside organizations, and I think you can still do well for yourself from a salary perspective, and still, you could still do pretty well by moving laterally. I knew a guy at Abbott when I worked there. He'd been there for 25 years, and I mean, he's going to retire a millionaire, not because he was a CEO or a CFO or he was never actually a C-level. He had just been there through so many transitions and acquisitions and divestitures and blah, 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 blah. And he had just, been able to capitalize on that organization. So it's not impossible to do well for certain companies by staying there. You just have to know how to work the system.
You also have to be realistic, right? Like, if you're an IT admin or you're an entry-level security consultant or security analyst, you're not expected to make 180.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that think, hey, I'm getting right out of college out of this cybersecurity degree, I'm making six figures right off the bat. No. That's not it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So let's be realistic.
What do you think is realistic? And again, let's preface this by saying this is North America, current economic clients. So we're not going to speak to overseas, India, Australia, UK, any company like that. North America, what do you think appropriate salary ranges are? And let's do them from entry level being 0 experience. Let's go 1 to 3 and 3 to 5. Just those 3 buckets.
Oh, years.
Yeah.
I think COVID really jaded, like I said, like pumped up everything. Right now, people are either going to underpay you or they're just going to give you realistic expectations. Meaning, like, if you got a job during COVID and you got, let's say 190, let's just say 190, you're not getting that 190 at probably in another position. You're getting way less. So that's just how I see it. And I've talked to a lot of individuals the same way too. As for starting out in cybersecurity, I think 65 to 80 is reasonable. What do you think? Yeah,
I think if you're coming out of college, I think if you're if you're coming from a
doing security.
Coming from a non-security background to a security background, I think 75 to 85 is a reasonable entry point for an entry level person coming into cyber.
Yeah. And then 1 to 3 years, I say 6, starting that 6 figures, maybe 95, 90, all the way to 120, maybe.
Yeah.
Pushing that 120, 125 mark. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd put 125 at the cap. I think getting to 125 in 1 to 3 is a grind, but I think doable.
I think it's doable for sure.
Yeah.
Like the interviewee or the applicant has to be like stellar.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I think you can do this without job hopping, by the way. I think you can do this inside of organizations.
100%. Yeah.
What about 3 to 5?
Oh, that's where it's tricky, right?
That's right.
That's where I think it's really tricky because people will overpay. People will overpay for the title, for the certifications you have. I know organizations where you have a CSSP and you're automatically supposed to get XYZ.
That's
dollars,
right. That's right.
So,
which is terrible to think about because it's not like CISSP gives you anything special.
Yeah, 3 to 5, 150 to 210, maybe.
I wouldn't go as high. I would not go as high as 210 for 3 to 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd venture a cap out at 3 to 5 at 175.
Oh, really? That low?
Yeah. That's again, personal opinion. That's what I think.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what I think. Last question, Mark, and I know we're a little over time, and I appreciate you being super. I'm gonna ask the mods to start looking for a raid target for me for the Twitch folks. But Mufasi says, and I'll answer some questions for everybody after we send Mark along his way. But Mufasi says, what is an example of a cloud job that would be a good starting point into security?
Cloud job, cloud architect, maybe. Like, just starting out, like really just starting out.
Yeah.
Look like a junior cloud engineer.
Yeah.
Really. Just getting your hands dirty. That's really it.
Yeah, like a cloud admin or something like that. I think something like that. Even into security, I think like you could even go. So I think even a SOC analyst would still be good from a cloud entry level security perspective.
Oh yeah, because the thing with security though, titles, like I said before, they don't really mean anything. You're gonna touch your hands on all these technologies anyway.
100%.
So yeah, just trying to find best way to put it, a grunt job, meaning you are just gonna just grunt your way through the tech, learn the stuff in 3 to 5 years, and then or 2 to 3 years maybe, and then you'll be set.
Do you think? I know I said that was probably the last question, but we've oftentimes referred to those grunt jobs as garbage jobs here on the stream, and not because they're terrible jobs, and again, not to bash garbage men or anything like that, but you say grunt jobs, but let's be honest, they're jobs that a lot of people look at and they're like, I don't want to do that, or maybe that's below me, or God, I went to go get an MBA, why am I doing IT audit work? What's your, can you expand upon your thought on getting into the industry through non-traditional ways of getting into the industry?
Sure, that's my way. I didn't get to the industry during IT. I didn't do security analyst. I didn't do SOC analyst. I got in just during incident response. It's a very rare case, right? You don't hear college students getting right out of college and doing IR, right? That's usually 4, maybe 5 years of experience already of a base. What I did was I just grunted my way through college. I said, F the courses. I'm doing my own thing. I'm just going to be hands-on dirty. I'm not saying college is bad, but I'm just saying hands-on experience is everything. You cannot beat that. Learning through your own mistakes, learning through everything is the best way to learn something. As for you mentioned MBA, why should I be doing a grunt job? In my opinion, I don't think college matters, or I don't think the master's matters. I don't think a degree matters. I don't really care if you have a 4.0 GPA. Can you do the job? That's really, at the end of the day, the biggest question. Can you do the job? Mm-hmm. If you come from Harvard, you have a 4.0 GPA, you have a master's in cybersecurity, minor in whatever, law and digital forensics. Awesome, cool. But can you do the job, right? That's really the best way to put it.
Absolutely. Good answer. I think that's a great way for us to send you off. Mark, everybody hit ! Guest in chat. Get to Mark's LinkedIn. That you can connect with Mark there from the team at Cyberry. I want to thank you and Amanda and Matt for all your help and support over the last few days when it comes to the stream. And thank you very much for hanging out with me and doing some resume reviews with me. And I'd love to invite you to come back next month. If everybody in chat wants to drop some hype hands and let me know if you appreciated us doing a joint resume review, but maybe we'll invite you back to do some more in the past. The floor is yours, sir, if you'd like to say anything to the community.
No, it was fun. This was really fun. If you invite me back, I'll definitely do it again. It was good to riff with you, and nice to meet everyone. So thanks, guys. If you guys want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, ask for just a chat or some advice, I'm more than welcome to do the same thing. I like helping people get into the industry, right? I came from an entry-level position or entry-level student, right? I could share some tips and tricks with you guys. So yeah.
Absolutely. Mark, I'm going to send you back to the green room. You can go ahead and bounce out from there, and you and I will chat at some point in time. I'll tell you this, it continues to floor me how deep we go in these resume reviews. I pulled, just so you know, I pulled 20 resumes out of the channel with the intention of going through 20 resumes tonight. We made it through 4. We will continue to do our best to try to make it through resumes as quickly as possible. You heard from Mark. You can reach out to Mark as well. Obviously, if you're interested, you can hit ! Coaching inside of Chad. Book some time with me on Top Mate. If you want some one-on-one time with me when it comes to looking at your resume. But you don't have to do that. Listen, all of the things that Mark and I talked about tonight, go to YouTube. There is hours of free LinkedIn and resume review stuff on YouTube where we go over the exact same thing. This VOD, if you're watching this in the future, this VOD will be up on Twitch for 30 days. It'll be up on YouTube forever, right? And so you can watch this over and over again. You can use the resume rubric to self-assess yourself. And so this isn't one of those times where, oh my God, if I didn't get my resume reviewed, I'm completely out of luck. No. Absolutely not. There's tons of content that is out there from our team at Cybersecurity to help you with your resume and LinkedIn. It is something we love to do. We love to help out, and we will do another resume. This was November. This is the first week in November. We'll do another one in 30 days. I promise you that, and we'll get the stuff done. Real quick, just some housekeeping items. Obviously, we've had a couple guests here recently. We've got some guests coming up in the future. We are in November. We're going to continue to try to line up the field with guests. Make sure you do tune into those socials. Hit ! Socials. Get access to all the social media. Make sure you do have notifications turned on. That's going to be super important to make sure that you are getting access to the latest and greatest. With that being said, I appreciate everybody who sent me well wishes for my last tournament. We've got tournaments lined up this weekend. We've got tournaments lined up next weekend. And then in 2 weeks, yours truly, the guy with 2 thumbs, this guy right here, competing in his first PGA event. I wish I could say it was the Masters. It's not the Masters, unfortunately. Not there yet. I wish I could say it's the PGA Championship. It's not, but we're really, really close to that too. But it is a PGA event nonetheless. We are part of the PGA Hope program. I'll be competing at the state level for North Carolina to try to get into the Secretary's Cup. So hopefully we do well for that. Send me well wishes. Your well wishes either on DMs or on text messages mean the world to me. With that being said, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everybody who hung out with me the last couple of days when we did the test streams. I don't know if anybody noticed or not. But we kind of put a little subtitle into one of the last streams that we did, the test stream, that talked about the cyber insecurity game night. There is talk amongst the mod team about doing a cyber insecurity game night or a couple of game nights. We're trying to expand out a lot of the content to try to be, maybe a little bit less serious, but serious in some places and a little bit more chill in others. And so I do appreciate everybody who kind of hung out with me during kind of a test stream / floating the idea of a cyber insecurity game night. If you enjoyed that, please drop me a note and let me know that you liked that. I enjoyed doing it. I thought it was a lot of fun. We had some good cybersecurity chats in between doing some of the gaming, and so I thought that was fun. We also played games with the community, which I thought was pretty cool too. With that being said, I think we're done for the night. I don't see a raid recommendation for my team, and so I think we'll take that as an opportunity to simply sign off for tonight. My name is Neil Bridges. Thank you so very much for tuning in with us tonight. Remember, whether you're on the red side or the blue side, or still deciding, keep learning. We'll see you next time.
Flashlight hit that slow reload. Night light.